The Stibnite Gold Project is located approximately 40 miles northeast of Cascade, Idaho. At Midas Gold, we've built a plan that puts the environment and restoration at the forefront of our project. We propose to mine 3 open pits, 2 of which have already been mined as open pits, and reprocess historic tailings. My name is Haley Ramber, and I'm here to show you around the Stibnite Gold Project. We're going to show you some of the historic legacies left by past mining companies, as well as Midas Gold's plans moving forward. So the Stibnite mining district itself was actually discovered because of the Thunder Mountain gold rush that was going on in 1899. So in our deposit we have gold, antimony, historically there was tungsten, and then the silver is the byproduct. During wartime, the tungsten and the antimony were critical. We were the only domestic source for antimony. You can move your family to Stibnite. So we essentially have this boom that's going on. There was over 1,000 people that lived up here. There was a schoolhouse, a bowling alley, a dance hall, a hospital, a little community store. There was everything you needed for this town. At the time, there was actually more people that lived up here in Stibnite than there was down in McCall. Post-wartime, we don't see that demand for the metals anymore, so that essentially turned into a ghost town post-mining. So they hauled all of the homes that were up here, the Stibnite houses, down into Valley County, as well as down into the Treasure Valley. So the Yellow Pine Pit was an underground operations, and it transitioned to open pit in 1938 to support the war efforts. When they started mining this in 1938 as an open pit, they ultimately blocked salmon passage. So right now you can see that the East Fork of the South Fork of the Salmon River right here flows into this old abandoned pit. Salmon today still can't get past this point. So a common thing that we have up here is people see that and they think it's a naturally made waterfall. So this is actually a post-mine feature. During operations, however, they diverted the river right along over there. So when we look at the walls that are going on around the pit, when they put the river back, this is how it came back through. So this is too steep for the fish to pass up to get to their spawning ground. In our plans for the Yellow Pine Pit, we actually proposed to mine this pit first. And there's a couple of reasons why. One is fish access. So we proposed to build a fish tunnel that'll run right back here behind us. So the fish tunnel is an underground tunnel that'll be almost a mile long, that'll divert around the Yellow Pine Pit, so it'll allow for fish migration, as well as for the East Fork and the South Fork to actually flow through it. Another issue that you see here at the Yellow Pine Pit is a sediment basin down there. A lot of the sedimentation that you can see here in the Yellow Pine Pit is actually from an earthen dam that failed on the East Fork of Meadow Creek in 1965. So each spring it looks like chocolate milk hitting a stream. So that sediment essentially comes down and is backfilling this pit here. But most importantly about this pit and why we're mining it first in the sequence of pits is actually so that we can start backfilling it. So what you see now is not going to be what it looks like after reclamation and restoration. So ultimately returning the East Fork of the South Fork back to what it looked like before mining rather than what we see here today as post-mining features. The East Fork of Meadow Creek, also known as Blowout Creek, was actually an earthen dam that failed in 1965. It used to provide hydroelectric power to the town side of Stibnite. In '65, that earthen dam actually failed. So what you can see behind us here is actually this feature right here is an incision from when that big force of water really pushed that sediment downstream. This is not an area in which we plan to mine or operate, but it's something that we can fix because we'll be here operating. Why it's important for us to go in and fix Blowout Creek is actually because it's the primary source of sedimentation in the entire watershed. So all of that sediment that we're seeing downstream in the Yellow Pine Pit, it's originating from here. We plan to install a French drain system that essentially restabilizes the area, as well as revegetate that area into its natural wetlands. The soda, or the spent ore disposal area, is 10.5 million tons of unlined waste rock and tailings. In our plan, we propose to reprocess 3 million tons of those tailings and then repurpose the remaining waste and spent ore rock. The soda is also important because in our plan we're trying to focus on going into previously disturbed areas. After cleaning up the soda, we propose to put in our lined tailings facility in this location. The importance of having a lined tailings facility versus the unlined conditions that are here right now is that by having a lined facility, you prevent the leaching of the heavy metals that are currently going into the Salmon River right now.
Hanger Flats is the third pit that we propose to mine. As you can see, Hanger Flats is not an existing pit like the other two. This site used to be home to an underground mine and mill site, the Meadow Creek mine. Hanger Flats today is underlying spent ore from previous mining operations at site. This large pile is actually where miners used to process gold using the heap leach method. In our plan, we will be processing all of our materials inside an enclosed facility, ultimately eliminating exposure to the environment.
Thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit more about the Stibnite Gold Project. If you have any questions or would like to learn more, please feel free to contact us or visit our website.